Alright, welcome back to my filthy garage floor. I should name my YouTube channel Filthy Garage Floor if I'm gonna like start every video like that. But I'm not gonna. So we're gonna do more sanding today. I wanted to show you guys the result of our previous sanding ventures. So this is one of the helmets we've been doing the wet sanding on. It is now smoothed down to the point where we're going to be able to paint. I have another one that's already in paint process, but I can't really show it to you because it is covered in tape except for some little highlight parts that I'm doing in a sparkly gold. If you would like to see said sparkly gold, that is going to be this shoulder pad that went through the same finishing process, and I've masked it, done the gold, wait for it to dry fully, so that's another 24 hours. Then I'll tape it off and then do our black and graphite rub on the areas that are not gold. But I'm not doing armor today. The armor is all sanded and it is essentially ready to paint, and we're just going through the painstaking process of waiting at this point. But I am working on this blade, which is a sword from Seven Deadly Sins. I can't pronounce the guy's name who uses the sword. He's the short dude. But I'm working on that today. And as you can see, it comes out a little rough because it was printed in multiple pieces, right? So those have been pinned together with dowels and glued together. We've got a little leftover adhesive and printing material, but most of this is going to be pretty easy to remove, and then we're going to sand. I keep bumping my camera mount, I'm sorry. It's not you, it's me. But the layer lines in this thing are wicked. Luckily, they're a little easier to deal with as a big flat object as opposed to a big curvy object like a helmet. The chest pieces that we did for the armor turned out very nicely as far as the prep work went. I've got the gold layer down on one of them. My friend is going to have to decide exactly where he wants the highlight colors on his. So by the time I'm done with this, it's still going to look pretty rough because this is just the initial sanding. I haven't touched this with anything yet. It's going to go through 3 or 4 rounds of primer sanding, because I want it to look like a nice smooth blade when we're done. Any gaps, like that's probably going to leave a fairly significant gap. That's not a big deal. When I'm done sanding on it, I will put wood filler in it, let that dry, sand it smooth. That takes care of little imperfections very nicely on this. Wood filler is my friend. You could use Bondo if you wanted. Bondo seems like a little bit of a heavy-handed approach to a prop. Wood filler doesn't have to be really, or most props don't have to be terribly durable or terribly active. So I'm really not going to bother with wood filler or with something heavier duty like Bondo or clay or whatever. Can't really see. We got more of that adhesive there. Adhesive doesn't sand very well because it's so pliable. It'll just flippity flop back and forth, and it won't ever actually sand up. Or at least not within the period of time that I'm willing to deal with it. Should have been using this 150 the whole time. I was trying to get away with 220 because the 150 just tears it up. But I think in the long run it'll give me a better finish. But it really grinds down the primer fast. I guess in this rough state though, that's actually a better thing. The cool thing about this design is it has convenient finger holes. I imagine on a real sword that wouldn't really contribute to the strength very well. But I also don't know anything about real swords. Maybe it's more than just looks. We are talking about an anime, like, fictional sword, though, so I guess I shouldn't be taking design tips from it. They're doing construction across the street. They're like remodeling the school I live near. And I feel like it's going to be a long summer of loud trucks and banging noises. And I think if I had kids, I would care that they were improving the schools and making them look better and remodeling. But I don't. And I value my sleep. I also work really early, so I guess that's really super selfish of me. Like it's interrupting nap time. Okay, so I'm going to rinse this off. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll come back with more primer and more sanding. And eventually this thing's going to look pretty nice. But I'm going to keep bringing it back and showing it to you step after step here. All right, talk to you again soon.